and gentlemen, distinguished speakers, we will continue with the next topic, which is we are going to talk about how startups choose their incubators, important criteria, which is today we not only have the Thai speakers, but also that we have an honor to have foreign distinguished speakers to come right here on this stage and they will share their experience and knowledge with us. So ladies and gentlemen, please give a big round of applause to welcome Mr. David Gao from Taiwan.
All right.
Please.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Hi, Sawadee Krap. Thank you. It's such an honor to be here. So today, in the next half an hour, we're going to be sharing, especially if you're a startup, how to select the right incubation or accelerator for you. So is there any startup? Okay, there are a few startup. Okay, so me, myself, I am an angel investor. We recently launched our international incubation center here in Taipei, in Taiwan, helping international startups to leverage the resources in Taiwan, expanding in Asia. But today, my role is very different. It's not about promoting our international incubation center, but with the recent year of collaboration with other incubation center, giving a very neutral advices on how to pick the right incubator for you. So today, in the next half an hour, we'll be covering the three things. First is what is an incubation center, what is an incubator, and what's the difference between other programs like accelerator. Once we understand the differences, we're going to dive into why should a startup not go to a co-work space? Why should a startup not stay home and work on the thing? What are the benefits of going to an incubator? And the number three is we're going to finish on what are the key criteria if you're actually thinking join one. What are the things that you should look for? So first, what's an incubator? So based on Wikipedia, an incubator is a company that helps and provides services to startup. It could be any kind of services that we're going to dive into. But most importantly is an incubator is a catalyst. It's like your mom and dad, right? Helping you to make that first step. When you're running, you fall down. It's your dad and mom that help you or your buddy to pick you up. That's in the essence what incubator do. But let's look more into. So incubator, for example, in Thailand, I'm sure there's a lot of incubators. Some are government run, some are private run, some are corporation. But now the new version of incubator has changed. It's a hybrid model. For example, in our incubation center, we also run acceleration with investment. So now it's no longer provides you an office space. So you could come through a different variation of these 5 different categories. So we want to know what's the difference between accelerator. Recently, there are big accelerator coming from US, such as 500-star Dave McClure. Dave McClure spent a lot of time in Taiwan. So actually, Taiwan government worked with 500-star. Recently, Techstar has been coming into Asia as well. So when we're looking at, especially if you're an international startup, you want to partner with international or with a center that has international flavor. So a lot of startups actually go through acceleration program, either here in Thailand or they just fly to US. But what is an incubator? Through now you have a lot of accelerator out there. So what's the differences? Actually, this is a very good article. You can check on it. It explains to you what are the differences. It's one of the articles that I found. But I make a table. It's easier. So for accelerator, actually, it's in batches. So some accelerator, they make 2 batches, 3 batches. And in these batches, they have investment. But more and more government are diving to accelerate as well. So sometimes government or nonprofit foundations, they don't necessarily invest in you when you're enrolled in it. So the idea of investment for an accelerator, now there's actually half-half. Some accelerator don't, some accelerator do. But in relation to incubation center doesn't have a batch date. Usually they don't have a start date. You can enroll anytime you want. So let's say you want to join accelerator, but you missed the date. You can't really join in the middle of it. But incubation center, you can go in and you can join anytime. And usually incubation center provides administration services such as space, register addresses, or help you pick up the phone. Accelerator doesn't do that. But now, as I said, now there's a hybrid model. So accelerator looks more like an incubator, and incubator looks more on an accelerator. So what does a typical incubator do? Well, this is actually from the association in US. They have mapped out these 50 services that an incubator can do. You can check the links, and they did a summary over here. So as I said, they provide administration support, they provide connection to mentorship, they also provide advices on fundraising. So why should a startup go to an incubation center? Well, first we need to understand what's the core value of an incubator. So incubator basically, this is based on my experience, is to get things done faster. It's to help you to make that giant leap. I'm sure a lot of startups, you can actually find investors, you can actually find partners in international market. But if you're working with somebody that help you to take care of this, and you can focus on building a product or service that people love, essentially that's what an incubator will help you to make that leap. So if you are thinking going to an incubator or accelerator, so what are the questions that you should ask yourself? Well, I have listed some of these questions that it's going to help you. Hopefully it's going to be helpful. So before joining an incubator or accelerator, ask yourself the following. First is, how big of the leap am I taking? So if you're a Thai startup, you're thinking in about 12 months, you want to go to other markets. So that's basically a very big leap. You're making a big step. So if you are more inclined to work with somebody, so maybe an incubator or accelerator could be a very good help you. So some incubator take shares, some incubator doesn't take shares, some take membership, some will charge you consulting fees. But let's put these questions behind you. Let's first look at what are you trying to achieve in the next 6 months or 12 months? How difficult it is. So if you're deciding to make a very big jump, maybe you want to find more co-founders, maybe you want to find international investors. So maybe an incubator could be a good choice for you. The second question you need to ask is, why now? Why do you need help now? It's a very important question. A lot of startups that come to me for my service, they just come because maybe joining an incubator will make their startup more successful. Of course, we hope that incubator will add value. But why are you truly making that decisions? So there's another 3 questions under question 2 is, you really need to ask, what's the compelling reason for you? Why do you get up every morning at 6 o'clock and sleep at 3 a.m.? To make this leap. Why? Because a lot of incubators actually make a very tight selections. They want to work with a startup that is really a very proactive. Because after all, these resources belong to the incubation center that has accumulated through the years, right? So they need to making sure that you are very aggressive, you are very proactive in making that giant leap. And the second thing is, what is the dates? You need to have a very clear date so the incubator can know what resources they need to provide to you. You can see that some incubators right now, they are more tailor-made. They are more like a consultant to you because accelerator is more batch. Every week 1 you do this, week 2 you do this, week 3 you do this. But incubators sometimes they are more tailor-made. So before, in Taiwan especially, there's a lot of government, there's a lot of nonprofit incubator, but now they are more moving to a more consulting-oriented incubator. So it's actually now tougher to get into these incubator now. So the third question is, what help do you need? Usually a startup team needs the following. They need mentorship. They need people to help them to make the rocket to go to Mars, right? It's very big. It's exactly what SpaceX is doing. So if your startup is really very new, there's no people has done it, I think incubator is a good choice because they will find a bunch of mentors. But a lot of startups don't know what's the difference between mentor and coaches and consultants. So let me take a few minutes to share what's the differences. So when you go into your incubator before you enroll, you can ask them, do you have these resources and network available? So a mentor is like dad and mom. They're always there helping you when you fall down. They don't know the answer because nobody knows. Nobody has gone to Mars, right? So they will not have the answer. So don't ever ask the mentor, should I do A or should I do B? Because they don't know. But they know the methodology. They know the techniques. They're more like your big brother and big sister helping to make that leap. That's what mentors do. Because they have enough experience working with a lot of startups. They know what to say and when to say for you to make that leap. The second is actually coaching. What's a coach? Let's say you play sports. You have a basketball coach. You have a soccer coach. A coach is helping you to enhance your current skill sets, helping you to make that pitch, helping you to not to be nervous when you're trying to fundraise, help you to find the first channel to sell to Taiwan, to sell to Japan, to sell to Korea. So these are coaches. But there is a third role is very important, is actually consultants. Consultants, they have been doing this 20 years, 10 years. They know exactly the steps that help you to do it. So when you go to an incubator, you really need to know, do I need more mentorship? Or do I need more consulting service? Or do I need coaches? Actually, a lot of incubator, like me before, I don't even know the differences. I started 5 years ago. I just thought if I have somebody there, spend time with the startup. But after I found a challenge, a more international startup will come to my center and says, David, I just don't need people to talk to me. And I just don't need your regular mentors. I need specialized mentor for my industry. So when you go to an incubator, you really need to ask. Don't just look at the current list of mentor and coaches and consultants. Tell them exactly what I've just asked. The second question, what do you need to get done in the 3 months, the 6 months, and 12 months? And ask the incubator, who am I going to speak to when I'm in 3 months, in 6 months? So I think the conversation with the incubator, it's a dual conversation. They will help you to decide. They will start to think whether if you're a good startup, but you can also think if this incubator is a good fit for you as well. So as I said, a lot of incubator on their website, they will list 50, 100 mentors and coaches. But who do you actually need? How many is going to be useful for you? There are some incubator around the world right now actually take a share out of your startup instead of charging the fees. So it's more critical for you to really look at these details. So the fourth question is, where can I get help? So now we understand the different type of resources. We know the differences between accelerator and incubator. So which particular accelerator is going to help you? Don't just think it's accelerator. Which one? Is it financial startup? Is it Techstar? Is it YC? Is it one very famous in Thailand? Or which particular incubator is going to help you? And can the mentor, the coaches really help you? And once you make that decision, I think you will have an answer in your heart. Which one is good for you? Is it incubator or is it accelerator? Or you simply option 4. You don't need any help. You can actually go into a very vibrant maker spaces or incubation center or a techno park here in Thailand. So now let's explore incubators. So how do we choose one? And we'll end the presentation with the following slides. So how do I actually pick one? Well, I've looked up great articles, and I found 2 great articles that to share with you. The first article is actually from Inc., a very famous business magazine in the US. They actually did a research. And here's a link. You can take the link. It's a very good article. And they have summarizing 5 different points. First is the location of incubation center, because that's where you may spend most of your time. So is it in Chiang Mai? Is it in Bangkok, or is in the capital of a city of the country you want to go to. Location, location, location. Why? Because now the ecosystem maturity of a lot of Asian countries become more mature. The location of the incubator you choose, you need to make sure besides this food, there is entertainment, are there other service provider around that incubator so that you will not waste time traveling. For example, the International Incubation Center that we are right now, few of the core spaces and the government agency, we are actually forming a new cluster so that we will attract more people and help the team. Why? Because at the end, it takes a village to help a startup. It's not only the incubator. So you need to really look into who are the neighbor of that incubator. So location, location, location. The second thing is look at the portfolio. How is the performance of the graduated startups in terms of number of employees they have hired? Sometimes you look at the number of employees as indication the growth, because when the startup grow, they will hire more people. So it's a good indicator. So the second thing you will look at the growth in terms of money raised or business channel matched. So it's a good indicator to look at the growth of the startup. The number 3 is winner. Before, when I run, this is my 5th year running an incubator. Before, I think branding is not important. No, branding is very important. Because the more famous the startup team, the graduates are, it's going to help you. Because when you go to a foreign market and you say, I'm from this incubator, and that foreign market knows about this incubator and the startup that they have incubated, it's going to help you. It's going to save a lot of time. Introduce yourself. So try to look for if this incubator has winner. The next thing is the actual number of money that raised. Why is that important? A lot of incubator and accelerator says they are connected with a lot of VCs. Well, actually, I'm a venture partner as well. I'm an angel investor as well. So putting the name on the website is one thing. Actually, investing in the company, that's another thing. So ask for the amount of capital was raised and put into the startup. And the number 4 is, do they really have the network capability to help you to expand, not only in Thailand, but also internationally? It's very important, especially when you're fundraising. Now, a lot of investors are actually asking for your international growth strategy. So having partner with the incubator, having international network is very important. So reference to, a lot of people startup love to use Quora. So I found a great article. Basically, the question was, what makes a good incubator? So there are 3 things. First is program. Does the incubator actually offer the things that you need? Not things that people want. Is there a good fit? And the second is, as I mentioned, connect with the mentor that is needed for you to accomplish your milestone for the next 12 months. So you really need to ask the incubator which mentor is a good fit for you. And number 3 is look at the people who are currently in the batches or currently in the incubator. Talk to them. Spend time during their happy hours, during the events. Talk to the people who are actually in the space. Because you know why? Similar startup mindset, startup with a similar mindset will always be together, right? So speak to the actually people who are in the incubation center. I will finish the last slide as a conclusion. So based on our experience in terms of incubation, there's much more than incubator. Because incubator, not only they focus on different industry, they focus on different stage as well. So we started with a 0 to 1 stage. I was very fortunate to be organizer of Startup Weekend about six years ago in Taiwan. We organized 13 of the 14 Startup Weekend held in Taiwan in 5 different cities. That's where I started my first incubation attempt, is to help people who actually participate in hackathon or Startup Weekend, help them to grow their ideas. This we call pre-incubation. So if you're on this stage, you want somebody to mentor you to help the right co-founders, to find the right angel investors. This is 0 to 1. The next is what we call 1-0. This is acceleration. You may join an accelerator, or you may join some incubator that is going to help you to break even, to validate your business model. Because once you are able to showcase that you're able to break even, that's where institutional investors or super angel will start to look at you. The next is you already have a very good business model you want to expand. So you want to find an incubator that has a very strong international network who actually can help you to do business development. So we recently helped a Taiwan startup to expand to Japan. Not only we help them soft land, getting startup visa, set up company, but also help them to connect with the local big companies. So you need to understand which stage are you currently is, and whether if that's the strength of that particular incubator. And the second thing is, you want to making sure all the mentor of this incubator share different mindsets. For example, for our incubator, we require the mentors, they have a mindset to work together. All the mentors need to work together because it takes a village to help a startup. Sometimes a lot of mentors come in, they are there for their own business. That's fine too, but they also need to put the startup as a primary interest before their business. Number 3 is the incubator, if it has a very strong local and international connection, it's going to save a lot of time. Especially startup in the growth stage, a lot of information are not available on Google. You can't really find on Google who do you speak to in Japan, who do you speak to in Korea, or who do you speak to in Singapore. But I'm sure a lot of incubators, especially they are international driven, they have that resources because they know who to connect. You will save a lot of time searching or experimenting. And number 4 is, and the last one is, the incubation program need to have a clear focus. So for example, the incubation program we have is welcoming international team that needs software and hardware resources, including Thailand. Right now, you see more focused incubation center, more than a general approach. So no longer incubator just offers addresses or place to work. A lot of incubator now needs to upgrade themselves and help the startup team to make that giant leap forward. So once again, my name is David. Thank you so much for your time. So I will be around this neighborhood. If you are interested in expanding in Asia, I'm here to talk and share my experiences. So thank you so much. Thank you. And here's my contact, so you can connect me via Facebook. Thank you.